So, very good evening, everybody. Meeting again in the session of philosophy, and since yesterday we have started with new chapter, that is the law of palliation. Earlier chapter we have discussed about separation, and this chapter is related with the palliation. Palliation is nothing but temporary elevation of the symptoms because of use of some local measures. It's called as a palliation. The concept of palliation varies from modern point of view or from allopathic point of view and from homeopathic point of view. In case, yesterday we have learned that the allopathic aspect of palliation is just alleviation of the symptoms or pain relief with the help of certain narcotic medicines. When nothing works, the narcotic medicines they used to use to relieve the pain, and instead of settling the patient, the internal disease goes on increasing and can lead to the suppression because of long continued palliation. The general rule of palliation is always that palliation is always followed by an aggravation. And that's why the aspect which is used in allopathic system of medicine, that is use of narcotic medicines to relieve the pain, is of no use, or it is only of a temporary use. The concept varies in homeopathy. We have learned that in homeopathy, it is nothing but the simillimum which we have to provide. There are no different groups of remedies to palliate the condition, but it is one and same remedy which we are going to find it out for that specific case and for that specific state is the remedy of the patient. So there is no question of curable or incurable comes. It automatically settles. If the patient is always in a curable state, it will get cured. If it is incurable state, same remedy works as a palliative. And many times it happens that when you select a remedy on the basis of such a thing, when you select a remedy on the basis of similimum, generally, this remedy opens up the case. Many times there are new features which comes out. And when it opens up the case, you get ample data to find it out the right remedy. And if that remedy is given, many times incurable patient can become curable with the help of proper similimum. And this is what he was explaining. The last example which he has given related with the insomnia, how to treat insomnia with the allopathic medicine and how it creates the problem when the sedatives are used. But if you are going to treat the insomnia with the help of homeopathic medicine, then question arises. Homeopath never give directly a sedative, but homeopath always used to give a remedy which will be which depends upon the patient's complaints and patient's totality. The cause behind the insomnia is taken into consideration and remedy varies from individual to individual. So it is not just a sedation which happens to be there, it is a natural sleep which is achieved with the help of homeopathic remedy. So that's what we are discussing. We are on page number 164. Let us go ahead with the next paragraph. The insomnia may be treated with crude palliative measures so that the patient secures sleep, but at best, this is an unnatural sleep. So if you give the sedative with allopathic aspect, it is not a natural sleep. While if insomnia is considered as a part of his symptomatic picture and given its proper place in that symptomatology, and man himself is treated not alone one or two symptoms, he will gain his natural repressing sleeps and he himself will be improved in general health. So when you treat homeopathically that patient, you are not going to treat his sleep only. You are going to treat that individual, that human being, finding it out remedy for that specific individual. And that remedy will work at all places, producing a natural sleep so that patient will be refreshed next day. Again, pain is one of the experiences from which human life has ever striven to free itself. Pain in itself is a blessing in disguise, for it brings to the patient a recognition of trouble and to the physician the ability to recognize the location of trouble. What happens generally whenever pain starts, we are disturbed. Everyone is disturbed because of pain. But pain is the language of internal disease, because of which we understand that person is having a certain problem and he can search for remedy. If pain is not there, you cannot. If patient who gets the pain in chest and gets an anginal attack can be treated with the medicine because that angina reflects its symptomatology and says that that heart is in danger. But in diabetic patients where pains are not there and patient gets an myocardial infarction attack or angina, the pain is no more and patient never feels pain and he dies all of a sudden. So pain is the most important thing of a human life, which reflects to the patient as his disease and to the physician to recognize exactly the remedy. So pain is very important from both point of view, from patient's point of view as well as from physician's point of view. The treatment of pain as a single trouble and the fear of pain has led to a wider use of narcotics than any other single factor. Because of pain in allopathy, the medicines, there are many narcotics, the opium derivative. So you get ample painkillers, varieties of painkillers over there. It is the cause of more drug addicts than can well be esteemed. The patient is in pain and or the physician fears that the patient may be in pain and in a sympathetic attempt to relieve the patient from temporary discomfort. Many physicians have been led to prescribe drugs, the initial effect of which is to relieve the suffering of the patient, but the lasting effects of which are to produce a drug addict. Robert T. Morris, MD, made a following statement in 1893, and it is as true today as it was then. Number one statement which Robert has made is the opium is a drug which stupefies the physician, which who gives it more than it does the patient who takes it. What he says? Opium and opium derivatives are there. All painkillers are opium derivatives. Opium is the drug. Patient gets habit of taking that drug because he becomes addicted to that. You see, there are many people who used to get recurrent headache, and what do? They goes to the medical store, ask for the remedy. He gives the medicine. Patient feels better. Again, he goes. Every day he is going to the medical stores to purchase the medicine because he becomes drug addicted. And all painkillers are nothing but the opium derivative. A drug which greatly relieves the distress of the physician, who without it would be compelled to do something rational for the relief of the patient who has put confidence in him. So, opium, what it causes? Many times opium is needed for physician because of giving opium, patient sleeps well. He becomes comfortable temporarily. But because of which the things happens that it hides the symptomatology. It gets masked. And when it never comes out, you cannot reach to the right remedy. So, if you don't give the opium to the patient always remains in a comfortable condition with pain. But if you going on giving opium, it always creates the problem. There are morphine tablets which are commonly used for the cancer pains. You see that patients, see their faces, you can just recognize that he is now getting morphine addicted. Their looks are like that. They looks like that. They are under the effect of morphine. So such a thing happens, and these are very dangerous drugs which palliates, but at the same time creates a problem or creates a poisoning of it. Pain in itself is but a part of symptom. However, for the physician, must take into consideration the location, the kind of pain, whether steady or intermittent, and if intermittent, whether at regular intervals or upon motion, or it is dull, or cutting, or blunt, or sharp, or pressing, or pulling, darting, cramping. See, this is what required for homeopathic physician. What type of sensation is there? Because every patient presents it in a different manner because their individuality is different. Individuality is hidden in the sensations. Individuality is hidden in the location. Individuality is hidden in the modalities. Individuality is hidden in the concomitant. And that's why when you look toward the pain from homeopathic angle, it is rather different. Get at the type of pain as a characteristic symptom of the disordered condition, the times and circumstances of aggravation and amelioration, the reaction to the thermic condition, and all concomitant symptoms that can be found. So here you have to give importance to the location, the sensation, the modality, the concomitant. Then you can reach to the right remedy. There is no question of painkiller in homeopathy like allopathy. So you have to understand that patient. When the symptom of the patient in itself is complete with the location type and aggravations and ameliorations, your picture is almost complete. But if in addition, you can find those concomitants which may lie in the condition of aggravation or amelioration, but which are often from seemingly unrelated symptoms, you have the sound basis for selection of remedy, which will relieve the pain promptly, and patient will be much more comfortable and happy in general than with any other narcotics. If you get characteristic symptom, which has a location, which has sensation, which has concomitant, which has modality, you see the result of that specific remedy to the patient. It works so beautifully and it settles the patient. It depends what patient presents, and if you are able to perceive, then your remedy will work instantaneously. Just I will share one case. Just last 15 days back or 3 weeks back, before going to the trip, there was a patient who came with the urticaria, and there all over the body the urticaria was there. But interesting thing was that it is a negative general. Actually, urticaria is always have itching, but that fellow doesn't have an itching. So there was only urticaria without itching. So it is called as negative general, and it is itself becomes characteristic. So what's the remedy? You know the remedy? Anyone? Eruptions without itching. It's dolichos. I have given the dolichos to the patient. And with the dolichos, urticaria disappeared within a day, and no more recurrence of the urticaria is there. So this is how we can find it out a remedy. Our remedy is not there is anti-allergic, no question of anti-allergic, no question of analgesic. So such a thing which he is explaining. When you look toward the things with homeopathic angle, you have to find it out remedy on the basis of characteristic thing. One of the most difficult problems a physician has to meet, where he has need of acumen and discernment and a complete knowledge of remedy picture, are such conditions as manifest an alteration of symptom pictures in different seasons of the year, such as summer gastric complaints, summer gastric disturbances, and winter rheumatic conditions. Dr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde of the chronic manifestation. There are number of these conditions of alteration of symptoms groups, and there are the alterations of the side. When the patient presents himself to you, you may be justified in concluding from his story that his trouble is limited to the disturbed state of which he complains at that time. Yet the remedy selected on this group of symptoms alone will often fail to bring the relief if the remedy does not relieve the symptoms most marked at the time. The man's condition as a whole may not be improved, or indeed it may even be worse, since we have not cured but palliated a part of his symptom picture, obliterating a very valuable part of our symptomatology. If the patient is curable, and we have thus obliterated a part of his symptom picture, we have blinded ourselves as to his true state, whereas a complete understanding of his condition over a period of several months would give a sound basis for successful remedy selection. This is especially true in such conditions as gout, and we have remedies that have just this periodicity. So he is giving examples how you can get certain characteristics. There was a patient who had an urticaria, who used to develop urticaria, and it used to happen exactly every year. So that was very characteristic with the patient. It used to happen every month of August, finished, yearly. So this periodicity itself is characteristic of that specific remedy where urticaria is present, associated with gouty rheumatism. So if you get such types of conditions, then you will get, yes, this might be urtica urens. You can get the remedy on the basis of that. Certain times you get a remedy on the basis of certain periodicity, certain specific modality. Patient comes that he had a severe sacroiliitis, and he says that, doctor, since last 8 days I am having the severe pain in my lumbosacral region. To start with, it was started on right side, then next day it went to left, then again on third day it comes to right, then again it goes to the left, and again it comes to the right. If he has very specifically explained that, so your work becomes very simple, because your remedy never depends upon the pain, your remedy never depends upon sacroiliitis, but your remedy depends upon this specific characteristic, that it goes from right to left, left to right, right to left. So again from one side to another side. And remedy is?
Lacan.
Yes, lac caninum. That is the very clear remedy. It is lac caninum. So this is what he is explaining. There is no question of painkiller. If remedy is very perfect, yes, patient will going to get cured. If you get such characteristic in the case, either for palliation of incurable diseases or for the cure of curable diseases, the symptomatology of the remedy must simulate insofar as possible the disease picture in order to bring relief, and where periodicity or an alteration is a part of symptomatology, the remedy must have characteristic feature if we are to expect it to be effective. So what is saying? Your remedy, when you are thinking about all those things, your remedy should be very perfect depending upon location, sensation, modality, concomitant. Then pain, when will we settle? Very fast it will settle. There is no question that about not getting the result. But you must get that characteristic symptom enough. So our remedy is not the painkiller. Our remedy is not the narcotic remedy. Our remedy is the remedy specific for that specific case, or that for that specific state of the case. Then you can get a very good results, the instantaneous pain relief. It works so beautifully. If your remedy is perfect, it works so beautifully. I will share one case. I think I have shared that case a way back in acute states. There was one patient who was brought to me having a right ureteric calculi at the vesico-urethral junction. Not vesico, uretero-vesical junction. It was obstructed over there. He was taking the treatment from surgeon. It never relieved. He has given 3 days hydrotherapy. Then he went to Nashik. There again, the urologist who tried to put a scope over there, it never came out. Then again, he was giving the hydrotherapy, but nothing was working, and he used to get very severe pain off and on. And he was not getting result. One of my patients went over there to meet him as he was a friend. He saw the condition, and they took the AMA discharge. They took one injection over there, and they took AMA discharge. And they directly from Nasik, they came to me. So what has happened? I took the whole case. The whole history belongs to the lycopodium. It was right-sided, right ureteric. There was red sediment in the urine. Then it was very typical from right loin to groin. Then modality was very marked. It used to get aggravated between 4 to 8 p.m. So total case was of a lycopodium, very clear-cut case of lycopodium. Then person was businessman, everything. So I have selected lycopodium and put it in the mouth of the patient, the lycopodium 201 dose, and I was preparing the further dose. After a minute, patient said, "Doctor, I got an urge to urine, pass the urine, so shall I go?" And he went, and he brought the stone. See how instantaneously it relieved because the remedy was perfect. It relieved, it releases the obstructed ureter over there and it opens up, it falls down into the bladder and immediately he came with the stone. So this is how homeopathic remedy works. So there is no need to give a palliative remedy for such types of patient, where you have to give a remedy which is specific for that patient that will automatically settle the patient. And what he says further, it is sometimes true when we have a case with alternating phases and series of symptom groups, and we are unable to meet the condition with remedy that covers all phases, either because we do not learn of the alternating phases from the patient, the first place, or because we do not know of remedy to meet the condition, that by meeting the symptom groups as they arise in the case itself as we go on, the symptomatology becomes clearer and more distinct so that we more completely meet the conditions as they arise and the patient condition becomes better as a whole. This is meeting a case by zigzag process, removing the most pronounced and characteristic symptoms by remedies most similar in each state, but it takes very careful prescribing and we are apt to hopelessly mix the case. This may be done in emergencies or when we cannot find a better method. It serves better as a palliative measure in incurable states than as a curative measure in curable states, and a failure in any of one of the series of successive prescription may mean the difference between possibility and impossibility of eventual cure. There is far more satisfaction and case much more complete if we can get a picture of the whole condition and the single remedy to meet the condition. Another thing which he is explaining over there, if you are not getting a detailed case, you are not getting the complete totality and you are not reaching to very perfect simillimum, then you have to find it out a simillimum which is most probable simillimum to that case. It is not a perfect simillimum but imperfect simillimum. And then what happens that when you give that remedy to the patient, some symptoms vanishes, some new symptoms arises and some remains. Hahnemann have explained how to go ahead with this. Then he says that you have to take again a totality which includes the remaining symptoms as well as newly added symptoms. Find it out again a new totality and again a new remedy. If it works and cures, it's well and good. If it never works, then again you have to go with the same manner, the imperfect simillimum, and follow it with the similar thing. So this is the method with which you have to go. This is called as zigzag cure. But it takes little bit time to reach to the cure. But if you get a very thorough picture of the patient, a very thorough totality of the symptoms, where you get location, the sensation, the modalities, concomitants, and the right remedy, then there is no question of zigzag prescription. You go, give it, and single remedy works instantaneously. But such occasions comes very occasionally in homeopathic practice. Because our patients, they are not so much studied, they are not aware that what type of symptoms we need. And that's why they talks in vague sense. And when patient talks in vague sense, you have to go with imperfect simillimum, not with perfect simillimum each and every time. I think we'll stop over here. We'll conclude this chapter tomorrow so that whole syllabus of the second year VHMS will be covered from H.A. Roberts. And then we can turn towards the third year syllabus of of the HR. So that's all for today. Thanks a lot. We'll meet again tomorrow at the same time, and today evening again with a new remedy. Yesterday we have discussed the natrum carbonicum, a very important remedy. Today we're going to learn one more folic acid, that is nitric acid, in today's session. A wonderful remedy to be understood because most useful part and parcel of our day-to-day practice. So that's all for today. Thank you and good evening.
हॅलो
Thank you
सर.
very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
हॅलो सर.
हा निशा.
एक विचारते सर. सर, जेव्हा पेशंट आपल्याला म्हणतं की एखाद्या गोष्टीची मला खूप किळस येते, सपोज आता एक पेशंट आहे तर ते म्हणतं की मला कांद्याची किंवा कांदा सोलतो त्याच्या ते वरचं साल असतात त्याची खूप किळस येते आणि हे पिक्युलियर आहे त्या केसमध्ये, तर ते सर रुब्रिक म्हणून कसं घ्यायचं?
त्याच्यात
ॲव्हर्जन टू घ्यायचं का कसं घ्यायचं?
ॲव्हर्जन नाही. ॲव्हर्जन मध्ये तुम्हाला मिळणार नाही स्पेसिफिक. ते फिलिंग काय आहे?
हा गुरु असे पण
किळस येते एवढंच वारंवार म्हणतात सर ते. मला किळस येते या गोष्टीची असं मराठीत म्हणतात वारंवार.
हा, म्हणजे स्ट्रॉंग ॲव्हर्जन आहे त्या गोष्टीबद्दल किंवा त्या गोष्टीबद्दल तिटकारा आहे. आपण त्याला शब्द तिटकारा वापरतो.
हो.
हा, मग
ते रुब्रिक म्हणून कसं घ्यायचं?
जनरल घ्यावा लागतो तो. त्याला एक थोडासा एक स्पेसिफिक वर्ड आहे, मी तुला सांगतो नंतर, मला आता नाही आठवत आहे. एकच मिनिट.
ते स्क्रीनवर आलंय सर, डिस्गस्ट फिलिंग.
हा, पण डिस्गस्टेड फिलिंग असा रुब्रिक नाही ना तुमच्याकडे डायरेक्ट.
बर.
एक मिनिट, मी तुला रेपर्टरी उघड आहे. स्ट्रॉंग डिस्गस्ट आहे त्याच्यामध्ये, कम्प्लीटला मिळतो तो. हॅलो.
हा सर, ऐकतेय सर.
कम्प्लीट मध्ये आहे बघ.
बर, चालेल.
डिस्गस्ट
शोधते मी सर, नाही तर मग तुम्ही उद्या सांगा.
डिस्गस्ट त्याच्या खाली सब रुब्रिक येतात.
बर.
स्ट्रॉंग डिस्गस्ट टुवर्ड सर्टन.
आणि मग ओके. चालेल. ओके, थँक्यू सर.
ओके.
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.